Hey everyone, this is Dean from Paranormal Pickers. Just getting ready for our next Paranormal Picker adventure. Come on, join me. Hello and welcome to another edition of Paranormal Pickers. See, you know it's funny when I replay this to record it and stuff. I'm like, I shake my head at myself.
I think we all do that to ourselves, though.
I don't like hearing myself. All right, so Paranormal Pickers, Season 3, Episode 12, Loose Ends, I'm calling this. It popped in my brain. I probably put it out there. So, hi, Sam.
Hey, Dean. How you doing?
Hello, everyone who's joining in or going to be joining. Say hi in advance.
Hello.
We got some interesting things to talk about, but first I would like to hear, First I want to let everyone know I don't live in a basement anymore.
Hooray!
And I want to give a huge shout out to Tim, Amanda, and Hunter.
Woo!
They came over Friday night. They took a couple hours out of their Friday night, came over here and helped me move a lot of the big stuff up, which I could have never done. I could get the stuff downstairs because gravity is our friend, but getting it up those stairs, no way. So thank you. You guys are important. I love you guys. Thank you so much. And Saturday, I finished up and cleaned, and I got a new roommate downstairs. Moved in on Sunday, so there you go.
Woo!
You know, I I actually was happy for the first time in a while, and I regretted it because as soon as I put that into the universe, karma has a way. It's like my neighbor's Earl. Karma has a way of getting me.
Yeah.
So once I was happy, I started dropping everything. I dropped my food plate. My Roku stopped working. Everything just started messing up for me. And I'm like, you're trying my patience, but you're not going to get the best of me.
Good. Can't let karma win.
Stay away from karma. Even kill, But you had some exciting events going on. April 29th, Chris Fleming came out and investigated the Tinker. So what happened? What happened? Anything exciting?
I mean, it was a fun night. We had Henson and Partel Paranormal out there. Midwest Ghost Investigators were out as well. So it was a great group of folks that attended the event. So we got some interesting EVPs captured. There was, those little cat ball light up balls. Those were moving around and lighting up. We had a couple of people said they saw people moving or shadows moving through the house. So that was neat. There was a handful of folks who had some really impressive psychic abilities. So it was really neat. It was a good time. One guy came up to me, and it was the sweetest guy, right? And he just comes up to me and he goes, "So I've got a man here, and I think it's Robert. He's kind of he's a gentleman." I was like, "Okay," and he goes, "He just wants you to know that he looks at you like a granddaughter, and you're doing a good job." And I was like, "Oh, thank you so much. That's so sweet. I appreciate that." So that was my biggest excitement because I was like, "Oh, thank goodness." Because half the time I'm sitting in there going, "I know you think I'm an idiot. I know I'm doing things, not quite the way you would have done them." But it was really sweet. But we had some really neat EVPs that came through. It was a good night. And I know that Chris is coming back this Friday and Saturday. So Friday, there's still 2 tickets that opened up. But Dean, you're going to be joining us on Friday as well, right?
I'll be helping out.
Yeah, so we investigated multiple locations. We had the cottage, we had the barn, and then we had the gardens. So
Nice.
yeah.
So do you think the Tinkers liked Chris?
I think so. I mean, they were very active, so that kind of gives me some hope.
Or not?
Well, yeah, I think so. I think because it was such a good group of people that came to investigate. Everybody was very respectful. Everybody was really, had some really good questions, very inquisitive. There was one EVP that was captured that I thought was just the sweetest thing. There was this couple and they had asked, what was your favorite thing about living here in this house? And then they replayed it back, right? And the EVP that was captured after that question was a man going, love.
Oh.
So that was his favorite thing, was the love that the family shared. And it was like, oh, look at all these sweet things happening.
Well, it is cool. And
Yeah.
So the sweet man, was he a psychic?
Yeah. I think so, because he kept coming up to me, I'm getting this message. Does this mean anything to you? I'm getting this message. Does this mean anything to you? And he was right on point with a few things. So I was pretty impressed. I was like, oh, look at you go.
Did Chris channel at all? Like, did he go into like a possession type? Chris does those things.
Yeah, no, there was no. At least I didn't see any channeling, possession, or anything like that. We did some ghost box sessions. We did some burst EVP sessions. He walked around and he did a really nice job. Everybody seemed to have a good time. So looking forward to doing it again this weekend. What's that?
Did you do your dowsing rods?
I didn't. When it's a public investigation like that, a lot of times, if folks bring their own equipment, I like to stand off in the back because they're here to do their investigation. I'm here to answer questions and just make sure our museum rules are followed. And I told folks, this is what I have. I have my scare bear, I have cat balls, I've got dowsing rods, and they used the scare bear and they used the cat balls, but somebody else had brought dowsing rods, so those folks were the ones they were using their own. So I just I stuck to the back, answered questions when needed. But
was there any new technology that was brought in there that Chris might have brought, like any new devices that the Tinker may not be familiar with?
So some of the apps he used, I wasn't familiar with.
Okay.
But other than the apps, like the regular physical equipment, was all stuff that I'd seen before from one group or another. But some of the apps that he used to chat with them were a little bit different that I hadn't heard of before.
Okay.
Yeah.
It started at 7 to 8 is like a history lesson, and then 8 to 10, 12.
So it was 8 to 11 was the investigation, and then we all gathered together from 11 to 11:30 to do one final ghost box session in the parlor and library. And then from 11:30 to midnight, we recapped in the barn. What did you guys experience? Who did this? Who did that? And it ended at midnight.
Okay.
Yeah, late night, but it was a lot of fun.
So when you mentioned earlier about the stuff that was happening, that was from the recap in the evening?
So some of the stuff that I had mentioned, I had seen or heard myself while I was watching them do their thing. But yeah, some other folks had some interesting, they took some interesting photos and things, I guess, showed up in their photos. And so I told him, if you got them, send them to me. I love looking at them.
Right?
But
You might
yeah,
recognize someone.
yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, I think everybody seemed to have a pretty good time. The Tinkers definitely did not disappoint. But at the end, when we're in the parlor and library, they had decided to play some music for the Tinkers to see if that would spark them up to have the Tinkers play some music back to them. And so it was interesting because they started off with like 1920s, 30s swing music, right? And that was doing okay. We got some things through the ghost box, and then
you cut off there. What happened?
So they had decided to play some music, and so they started off with like 1920s, 30s swing, big band kind of stuff.
Okay.
And we got some voices through the ghost box talking about that, and then they switched it to like the hymnals. And so there was a little bit of that playing, and then they went, all right, like get back to that fun big band jazz stuff. But no, it was good. It was really interesting, and I think folks enjoyed it.
Well, yeah, when you got 2 more shows, and again, get out there this Friday. You got 2 open tickets, so. You could be the lucky couple out there, whoever's watching. There's still a chance to mingle with Chris Fleming, and the Midwest Ghost Hunter is going to be there again.
So it'll be the Henson and Bartell Paranormal team, and then you'll be there, and then Sarah from Midwest Ghost Investigators will be there.
You broke up for the.
Oh no! I don't know what's happening. It seems like it's fine on my end, but
and it's probably good. It's just I'm in the studio here. I probably won't see it, but I think Facebook probably sees it fine. But so Bartell, Henson,
and Henson, and then you will be there from Ghost Head Soup, and then Sarah from Midwest Ghost Investigators will be there. So you and Sarah will be in the barn, and then the guys from Henson and Bartell will be in the house. So the group is split into 2 groups. It's about an hour and a half in each location, and then we switch hour and a half again. So
me and Sarah, you're causing trouble, man.
I know. You both signed up to be my volunteers at the museum, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing with these 2? Ooh, it's going to be a lively night.
It should be. Well, that sounds cool. So I can't wait till Friday and see what happens in the barn. And that's where I saw the door handle move. So.
It is. Russ is pretty chit-chatty when he gets into the mood. It depends on his mood, but if you get him on the right night, he gets real chit-chatty.
So anything else to add? How's the glass repair going?
Oh, it's still in the process of getting repaired, unfortunately. It is. But we're hopeful that it's in the near future will be done. We've got our big spring fundraiser tomorrow morning.
Nice.
So, yeah, we're excited about that. We've got lots of events coming up, and it's going to be a good summer. It's going to be a real good summer.
Cool. Which brings up like an earlier show when I was talking about white hearse. And I saw 2 white hearse 2 days in a row. And so I'm like, well, what is that symbolizing? And it means you're in mourning, which I was because my girlfriend Tammy passed in September. Mm-hmm. And then it also symbolizes a new life, which would be getting out of the basement.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, and then also we talked about was and. Are you freezing up on me again?
Oh, you're freezing up on me. I don't know.
So was and Zozo, I brought that up too.
Okay.
headline, August 11th of 1920. It says the past year, so this is 1919. The past year, 500,000 Ouija boards were sold by J.M. Simmons and Company. And it was made in a little second floor factory, about 10 employees on the Chicago's west side.
Wow.
It's the Tacoma building, which was demolished in 1929. Okay. So about 9 years later, they demolished this building. And if people were to look for it, it is now 1 North LaSalle building. So that's where the Ouija board, if you go to 1 North LaSalle, that's where that second floor, that's where the Ouija board pretty much was made.
I wonder if it's a very active location or if
Shows it up.
I don't know, Dean. I don't know. It says it's full signal on my end.
Frozen up on me.
You're frozen up on me.
I know, it's crazy, and I don't know why I'm tapped into this thing. I shouldn't have any issues. So you wonder what?
I was wondering if they have a lot of paranormal activity at the location, or if it's a very, normal, quiet place.
Right. You never know. So actually, more about J.M. Simmons is one newspaper reported that Simmons didn't believe in the board. He believed that the public were fools for believing in it.
So he's going to make money.
He's quoting this. He's saying, these boards are foolish. You're foolish for doing it. But yet he sold 500,000 in 1919. People still bought the board. So again, it's like their belief. So like people will believe in what they believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't change that. Everyone's belief is their own beliefs. Right or wrong, good or bad,
Yeah.
Which brings up the point is, you mentioned some of the apps, some of the technology out there. How does belief apply in ghost hunting devices today? What do you think? Like, I know people use the Ouija board, dowsing rods, but all these other apps, the beliefs for me anyway is that it's a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's a program, and I kind of stay away from that stuff. But, I use an S3E12, and if I study it or have it and then go to different locations and it does different things at different locations and supports where I'm at, then I have to consider something.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like with any technology, you got to take it with a grain of salt, right? I will say that there's times where I've got a few different apps that I kind of bounce between just to see if anything happens. And sometimes, things pop up and it's like, boy, that's a coincidence. That's right on. And other times it's like, this makes no sense. It has nothing to do with anything that we're talking about. So, it makes you wonder if it's that AI technology in our phones where they hear us talking about something and, okay, well, it's along these lines. If they're talking about pies, maybe we'll throw out a flavor. I don't know. But maybe it is the other side,
Yeah, if you're talking about pies, is this one of the questions you ask?
Sometimes. I usually ask them, what'd you guys have for dinner tonight? And I very rarely get a response. They're like, this again, doesn't she think of anything but food? But like, it's a question, do ghosts sleep? What would ghosts dream of?
They're dreaming of us investigating them. Maybe they think it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
So I guess we could call it paranormal theorizing, right? Because we're taking, well, for example, like we talked about EVP. So it feels like it's a newer term, electronic voice phenomena. I don't think it's I don't think it exists. I believe it's, well, the fact is that young ears can hear the EVP where the old ears can't. So our theory is that the EVP is now a challenged term, pretty much. I mean, you can challenge the fact, but people still use it because that's how it is. But theorizing doesn't make it a fact either. So, it's your belief, and that's what I was going back to with Simmons. He's like, he didn't believe in the board, and he believed that the public were fools for believing in it. So I kind of look at all the technology being made out there, and I'm wondering if these people are making this stuff for ghost hunting are sitting there back saying the same thing.
You can't help but wonder.
Yeah.
I think there are some that are like, if you go onto eBay and you've got those small shop sellers and stuff, I feel like they probably are a little bit more into it. Whereas, like, I don't know who makes board games now, Mattel or whatever, making the Ouija boards. They're probably sitting back going, these idiots are just gonna keep buying. So I think it depends on the sellers that you go to. I think some of them probably believe in it and some of them probably don't. But
again, it's their belief, right? They believe in getting money for their products.
I can't really blame them. But and that's the thing, is everybody has their own beliefs, and no matter what that belief is, there is never going to be like undeniable proof one way or another, right? Everybody has their own personal beliefs, and it is what it is.
Oh, we broke up again.
Goodness, I don't know.
I don't know why. I plugged my computer in and I see my Wi-Fi connection going, but and there it goes again. It pops up low stuff here. So, right, so we got a couple people on here. I want to see who's chiming in here. Let's see.
Someone came through their class to say hi.
That was Larry.
Oh, hey, Larry.
Got Ron, Larry, and Matt out there. What's up, guys?
Hi.
I didn't get a hold of Laura, so she always likes the reminder.
I was going to say, yeah, usually Ron and Laura are two of the first ones on.
Right. So, have you done any auto writing before?
I haven't, but I've looked into the subject, and I think it's a really interesting concept. I don't know. I think I'd like to try it, but I also don't know that I would be very good at getting much, Well,
what did you find in your research? Right. What intrigues you about auto writing?
Well, the idea that, you can get these subliminal messages, if you will, and for them to just, so let's go back a little bit. So there is this whole thing where like genius people come up with like their best ideas sometimes by doing the most basic, not thought-provoking thing out there, right? And so the thought that like you can just circle, you're not paying attention, you're not focusing on the circles so much or anything in your mind, and then all of a sudden you can just get this message. I don't know, it seems like a really cool idea to me. So I don't know. Would you get more profound messages because you're not trying to come up with something? Or are you sitting there thinking too much about, well, what is this message going to be? And then you get your own head going, and it's actually not really a message. It's just your own head going and coming up with something, right? So I don't know. I'm intrigued. Some folks because I watched a couple of YouTubes, right, on folks that were doing it, and I'm like, I don't know. Some of them seem legit, and some of them seem like, all right. So I don't know. I guess it's something that I don't fully understand, or I'm very unsure about. And so I think that's kind of where I'm like, I wouldn't mind looking into a little bit more, because I just am not. I don't know anybody who's done it, unless you've done it and I don't know about it, but I just personally don't know anybody who's experienced it or tried it out. And so I just thought, kind of a different way to do it in some investigations, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, back in school, I know they had you just sit there and just start writing words, and that'll get your mind going where you can create a story.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the terminology for it. It's like words something.
Yeah, I know. We had like our English class or whatever. They're like, bring a notebook, and every day for the first 3 minutes, your hand can't stop moving. And it's like, that's a long time to be using a pencil. But I mean, that eventually words come to mind and you create a story. And so that's the question: is this auto writing just your own mind
Right.
creating something,
Right.
or is it actually have some sort of merit in the paranormal realm?
True. I remember writing a story and just sitting out there. We had a writing exam, and then the night before I wrote something down on one page, had just anything, turned it in, and ironically, my teacher thought I was plagiarizing.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? He brought me up to his desk and said, do you know what plagiarism is? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, where did you get this from? And I'm like, I wrote it last night on my kitchen table, And then he gave me an F because he didn't believe me.
Oh, no.
But apparently thought it was good enough to be plagiarized. I don't know.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, I was like, the wind was knocked out of me. I didn't know what to do.
I bet.
You can't fight the teacher,
Yeah. So I don't remember what this term is. Okay. My brain don't work anymore. But there's this whole theory that everybody's subconscious is somehow connected, right? That there's this unseen, like, multi-level of libraries, if you will, right? And we all have all these similar thoughts, but sometimes they come through one way or another. But that in the end, our subconscious is so connected, and that's why, with writing and movies and things, there's so many similarities between so many of them, because we all have that unconscious connection. So maybe you were just tapping into one of the greats, and
it could be. Yeah, I know. Like even even ghost hunting, and you're sitting there in the room and you're having a conversation, and you see it on TV too. Is like when you look at someone, they actually morph into somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't look like themselves anymore. Like, whoa, you just looked like somebody completely different. And It's happened to me before, and I bring up the name Ernest Hemingway. So as I'm going through I found a picture of Ernest Hemingway, and I looked in the mirror and I looked exactly like that picture.
Oh, wow.
And everything, I was just like, well, that's kind of freaky. So who knows? Maybe I was channeling Ernest Hemingway.
Or maybe you were him in a past life.
That explains the drinking. No. Anyway, I do want to bring up so I do one segment called Creepy Nature. And we had coffin fish on there. Last week I had a pink fairy armadillo.
Oh.
And guy. So let me bring him up here. This guy is crazy cool. taking a little time here.
Do do do
Peter, got a little
do
bit.
do do.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, so my computer's, here we go. All right. Here we go.
Oh, I've seen those little guys before. They're like parasite gummy bears. I don't remember what.
Okay, come on
Yeah.
now. So yeah, these guys are called the water bear, or as you can see here, tardigrade water bears. And what's interesting about these things, I mean, they're so microscopic you can't even see them.
Yeah.
Well, the largest adult may reach about 1.5 milliliter, which is about 0.059 inches, and they could get as small as 0.0039 inches.
Oh my gosh.
Now, when I mentioned the coffin fish and evolution, now these guys, I mean, they've been around for pretty much the birth of time. I mean, this is living stuff. This is everywhere. So the thing about them is they survive extreme conditions like radiation, dehydration, starvation, and exposure to outer space.
So how do they survive? Does anything kill them?
Well, age. They die after so many months, but yeah, they're the first known animal to survive after exposure to outer space. So it says here in September 2007, dehydrated tardigrades were taken into low Earth orbit on the FOTON M3 mission, and they were carrying these water bears. So for 10 days, this dried up or dehydrated water bears, they were exposed to the hard vacuum of outer space, solar UV radiation, and then they were brought back to Earth and then they were rehydrated. So they actually survived that. I mean,
That's wild.
yeah, that's like beyond the realm of living. That's like superstars. I mean, they can survive that. Let's see. In recent years, there were also been increased speculation regarding them ability to survive on Mars without any life support system. But despite the hardiness of the tardigrade, it would still need to eat to set up shop. So they have to eat.
What do they eat?
Some they're called moss piglets too. So they'll eat moss. And some of them will eat other animals, so that they are carnivores too.
Okay.
But they're found in diverse regions of Earth's biosphere, mountaintops, in the deep sea, rainforests, Antarctic. So these things can be found there. But look at this guy.
I mean, it's so ugly and creepy that it's kind of cute.
I knew you were going to say that. I mean, come on, look at his claws.
I know, they're like little hands.
But they have, 4 sets of legs.
Are they 4 sets of legs or 4 sets of arms?
Legs, because they're walking.
Yeah, but you can walk on your hands.
Look at this guy. Come on.
Oh.
And
What
what's
is
with
that
the?
thing on its it's like a
That's its face. That's its
where are
nose.
the eyeballs? How do they see where they're going?
Look at. Tell me that ain't alien, man.
Yeah, I mean, it is bizarre. If it can survive in outer space, I guess it is an alien, right?
That's what I'm thinking. So something had to bring us here. Meteorite, asteroid. Maybe we're not from this planet originally.
Food for thought.
Do do do.
Cue X
And
Files
maybe,
music.
and maybe the mothership is sending those messages to us until someone figures it out.
Perhaps, perhaps.
Well, to move on from creepy nature to let's join the circus, right?
All right. Run away, join the circus. Where do we gotta go?
Delavan, Wisconsin, apparently, because that's the circus capital of the world.
Oh, that's creepy. That's more creepy than those water bears, I'd say.
You don't like clowns, do you?
I'm not a big fan of them. You know, one every now and then is fine, but I had a traumatic little experience as a kid with a toy clown. I was sleeping over at a friend's house, right? And up on her shelf there was this clown statue. And I was like, why do you have this? Who would want this? Creepiest little thing, right? And I'm laying there and she had a day bed. And so she's on the bed and I'm on the pull-out section of the day bed, trundle bed, whatever it's called. And I'm laying there and I couldn't get to sleep. And and all I can do is stare at this creepy, creepy clown. And then all of a sudden I see its head turn. And I'm like, oh, heck no. Mm-mm. And so I did not sleep. I didn't sleep the entire night. I woke up in the morning, my friend woke up in the morning and I was like, I'm ready to go home. Like, I'm ready to go home. I'm not doing this creepy clown anymore.
You weren't clowning around. You needed to go home.
Yeah, I needed to go home. And she's like, no, it doesn't move. And I'm like, I saw it move in the middle of the night, and that's enough for me. So like after that, I just not a clown person. Before that, it was fine.
Then you'll love this segment. So this is from circusworld.wisconsinandhistory.org. Happy 1st of May, a special day in the circus community the world over. They welcome new members. I could be a clown.
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And then we got so Delavan is rich in circus history. It was, even though the birthplace of American circus was Somers, New York, but Delavan pretty much developed into the 19th century circus capital of the world. This happened like in 1847-ish.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, performers from more than like 26 different circuses called Delavan home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's not very far from us.
4, I want to say. Well, what happened is that it was their winter site. So they were actually going through town here or by Lake Lawn, resort on the other side of town. And they found that it had everything they needed. So they bought land. They were actually hunting for prairies, something to eat. And and they loved the place. They figured they got water, they got enough land, and for their elephants, so they called it home, and they've been there ever since.
I feel like if I'm looking for a winter residence, I'd go closer to like Florida than Wisconsin.
Well, you got to think of the animals too.
Yeah.
So the animals could rest, they could store their equipment, and they developed new acts here. So, and the city's got all this, wall art out there.
That's neat. I'll have to go check that out.
Yeah, so William C. Coop, he was from like New York area, I want to believe. And he was a teenager. He was in a printing business, and he just got sick of it and just pretty much just started doing the circus thing. And he's kind of where William C. Coop, he was I guess one of his friends, I think it was a former clown, Dan Costello, suggested to William of the show business alliance with Phineas T. Barnum. So with Coop's help and Barnum's name and money, it was this P.T. Barnum Circus was birthed in Delavan, Wisconsin.
I had no idea.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I knew that there was a circus museum up there, but I didn't realize that it was the home of the circus.
To the greatest show on earth.
Hey.
So I always like going up there because it's just, they have a nice cemetery up there, which I'll get to in a second.
Okay.
But one of their Romeo and Juliet were two elephants that they had up there.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I believe it was the Mabie brothers, Edmund and Jeremiah Mabie, Mabie.
Oh, okay.
They developed their circus act at about 1840. And then 1847, they ran the largest circus in the nation, complete with 27 wagons, 125 horses, and 8 elephants.
Wow.
Their biggest elephant was Romeo. He stood nearly 20 feet high and weighed 10,500 pounds.
Holy cow. That is a big elephant.
Holy cow is right. So there's a plaque out there for Romeo and Juliet.
Oh. You know, the Tinkers would go and see the Barnum's circus when it came through Rockford.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, throw that in there.
Gotta.
So who's buried here?
So Spring Grove and the other cemetery, Spring Grove and St. Andrew Parish cemeteries. There's like 250 circus people buried there. And this is a row. So I mentioned William Coop and Mabie. So you see here the families that were married. So on the bottom, there's like a row of cemetery. Buckley was one of the first people in the circus here. And then Mabie, Mabie. So again, they had the elephants. So I would go out to these graves and, just mark down their pictures and stuff. But I did also do investigations. I would go up there. I mean, it's not that far from me. So I actually like going out there and investigating, talking to. It's a beautiful cemetery. It's quiet, other than people walking around there and hiking and stuff, or jogging or walking their dogs. I just heard some big wind outside. Sorry.
I'm like, oh, what's going on over there?
So again, 120 years of Delavan's Memorial Circus milestone. So like 1847, the Mabie brothers arrived in Delavan with the 27 wagons, 8 elephants. 1858, 4 more circuses called Delavan home, including the Holland Family Circus. 1864, the Mabie brothers sold their circus, and then which moved to Chicago. And then in 1870 that's when P.T. Barnum, led by William Coop, founds the circus. 1880, the circus colony at Delavan reaches its peak. So in 1880, that's where most of the circuses were there. 1894, the Howland family and other circuses closed their tents and Delavan's circus era concludes. So that was about 1894.
That's a pretty good run, though. From the 1840s through the 1890s.
So again, Spring Grove and St. Andrew Parish cemeteries, there's these number of plaques. So you see like the circus plaque. I got a bigger picture here. So you know how they memorized or the memorialized the veterans and stuff like that.
Sure.
So they did that with the circus too. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that is.
So one of the things about these cemeteries is that there are claims that former circus employees are said to haunt the grounds. There's they've seen ghosts of acrobats, clowns, and even horses.
Nope. Ghost clowns, I draw the line. No. No.
Come on now.
So these ghost acrobats, are they like seen up in the trees, or are they just wandering around in their outfits?
They just see them walking around in the grounds, walking the grounds. So as you can see, I was there. This is when I took all the notes, and I just had my camera running with a picture of, well, let's see. It's one of the Edmund maybe, yeah, and Jeremiah. So they were there. So that's just a picture of them. So I had a picture of them and the TV running. It's what's called a Sony Watchman. Remember those? I don't know if this. So I had that thing going for ITC work just to see if anything appeared. I would have liked to seen the face appear on the TV. That would have been nice. If a nice trick for the circus people to do. Maybe I should have brought hoops to jump through.
Maybe.
Maybe, get it? Maybe.
Maybe.
That's fine. So there you go. The spirit that moved men west. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, the story of that Delavan area, and this thing's cool, like I said. But yeah, it's kind of cool and interesting, and it's nearby. And some of the things I came up with was, so I was asking questions. I'm not going to be able to play them right now because you can't really hear it. You know, you could hear it in your ear, dog ears. So I asked, did you know I was coming? And I got a response, yes, I did.
Interesting.
And then I asked, and they said, did you see the little elephant I brought? And the response was, where's it at? And then there was an animal sound that sounded like an elephant, but I don't know if it was me or not. I was a little bigger back then, but just, not 10,500 pounds. I wasn't a Romeo.
Yeah, I wouldn't picture you as that one.
But. And then lastly, I said, anybody know the story of Alice in Wonderland? And I got a response that says, I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I like using like off the wall questions sometimes, just out of the blue questions, validation, something like that nature.
Sure.
So I do have the Watchman here. Just like your normal TV, but without. Can you show yourself in the TV? Could you imagine watching this for like hours and hours and hours.
Oh no, this is giving me like poltergeist vibes.
So I wanted to demonstrate that. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I had a couple good hits, and I'm thinking about now that I brought this back up. I want to get back out there again because, again, it's really nice to walk around the area. And if you get a hit, you get a hit. You know.
Yeah. No, I mean, it looks like a neat place to check out.
It is, and they have statues of elephants and giraffes in one area.
Oh.
And Elephant also has other haunted areas. I know there's the School for the Deaf that's supposed to have some haunts in it.
Oh.
So
Interesting. I've only been to Lake Delavan once. And it was not for ghost hunting. So I'm going to have to go check that out.
yeah, Lake Lawn is cool.
That's where,
Guys,
where we went to Lake Lawn Resort.
yeah, Lake Lawn. It actually has an Indian mound on there.
I heard that so it was for my bachelorette weekend, and we did not spend much time outside. It was mostly hanging out in the bars. So,
You were clowning around.
yeah. But but yeah, no, it sounds like a great place to go ghost hunting.
Lake Lawn, I don't know. I mean, it has the mounds there, or a mound, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Lake Lawn's haunted, but it's a pretty cool place. It's a nice little resort there.
Yeah. But the rest of the town, it sounds like between the cemetery and, yeah.
They kind of broke up there for a second.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is an older cemetery there too, right in town. Kind of that picture of the town is just right behind there, and then Spring Grove is kind of further back. And you see the lake. I mean, it's not Lake Delavan, but it's Lake Como, I believe. It's just right back there. And then on the other side, there's like a nice little park that you could walk around. Arbor.
Sounds really nice.
Arbor, yeah. You can see all the trees and stuff. And there's little spots you can fish off of, which is nice.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a fun time.
So we'll have to head up there.
Yeah, let me know. I'll pack my bags.
So did you freeze up again?
No, you froze up. Hello, Dean. Can you hear me?
So we got one more show for season 3. But I just want to take the time to thank everyone for coming out. And our guest, Cindy Heinen, was on. I actually saw her the other day. I got some books out of the storage unit, and it was acupressure books. So she came and picked up those, and then I had some other spirit-related books, so she took a couple of those off my hands.
Fun. Oh, I love talking about Cindy.
And yesterday was the first day of me being vice president of the Harvard Boost over here.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I wanted to give a get well soon, Robert, who was on season 1, episode 9, Watcher. He was our guest there. He's having surgery today, so I'm going to talk to him tomorrow, and hopefully everything worked out for him. So yeah, he was on May 17th, almost a year ago. So wanted to give my well wishes to him for a speedy recovery. Of course, Dale Kazmarek, everyone that joined in at the last Tuesday of the month, the lab, Jeremy, Mark, of course, Becky Vickers, who we talked to, great person.
Oh,
And then lastly, this gal over here, Samantha Hockman. So thank you so much for joining in on all these shows. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I've had so much fun doing this.
Yeah. Well, we'll continue on.
All right.
And, so, again, check out Samantha on Midnight Screams, Heat. Check her out at Tinker Swiss. Just search her and you'll find her.
I'm on Google.
You're Googled. Googled.
Googled. Oh, I like that. Googled.
We still got the Kling Brothers coming up July 28th and the 29th. We still got Chris Fleming coming back out this Friday and Saturday. Now we also got the some folks from the Henson and Bartell Paranormal team on May 13th.
Yep, and that one is sold out.
That one is sold out. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Good for them. They're awesome guys.
They are. They're so much fun. We're really lucky in this northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin area that we do have so many really great, fun people to work with.
Fun is an understatement.
Especially when it comes to you. You're a blast.
Oh, yeah. So I was looking back here at the Kling Brothers. There's going to be a meet and greet and a pizza party.
So that's if you get like the top tier ticket. So your basic ticket gets you just entry into their speaking during the day on Saturday. The middle level ticket gets you that conference plus investigating Veterans Memorial Hall Saturday night. And then if you get the premium ticket, which is the way to go, you get a pizza party at Tinker and an investigation at Tinker the Friday night before, which is going to give you some special one-on-one time with the Kling brothers and getting your celebrity photos and autographs and whatnot.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. So anything else to add in the Tinker news?
Any
loose ends?
I don't know that we have too many loose ends, but definitely if you haven't been out to the museum or if it's been a while, or even if it hasn't been a while, come visit us. We do have general history tours Tuesday through Sunday at 1 and 3. We do paranormal events at least once a month, sometimes more often. Sometimes it's us with teams like Ghost Head Soup. Other times we partner with places like Haunted Rockford, and she brings in some, world famous folks like Dale Kazmarek or famous authors. So there's always something fun going on at the museum. You okay over there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It broke up again. Stupid technology.
Yeah.
Maybe it's my TV.
Maybe whatever ghost in that box you got's messing around with your Wi-Fi.
What's on the channels today? Yeah, I saw Crawford County Paranormal. What is it called? Something Village. Well, they have an ITC room, and they have all these black and white TVs set up for an ITC room. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I bet it is.
Yeah. Oh, I know what I wanted to show.
Oh, yeah?
For those interested in the circus stuff. Since we got a couple minutes here. So on Find a Grave, there's actually a Circus Delavan, Wisconsin.
Oh, fun.
There's 41 Memorial there. So yeah, you can see all the people from the circus. Not all of them, 41, and I think there's 250 of them there. So yeah.
They need to write a book on
William
that cemetery.
Cameron. Yeah, there's William Cameron Coop.
How neat. I love Find a Grave. They have so many great resources on there.
Right? Let's see if I can't bring him up. So yeah, there's William.
You know, they didn't
Nice
show
little write-up.
the Greatest Showman musical.
Say that again?
They didn't really show him in that musical, The Greatest Showman. That was about P.T. Barnum.
You know, I don't know. They didn't mention him at all?
Mm-mm. Or maybe they did, and I'm misremembering because it's been a little while since I've seen it. But
now I have fuel to the fire. I can get him like agitated up there.
Don't provoke, Dean. No provoking. You're going to get him all mad. He's going to follow you home, and it's going to be a mess.
Too late. Too late. Probably
Don't
why
say
I
I
was
didn't
dropping.
warn you.
Maybe that's why I was dropping everything the other day.
Oh,
so
could be.
This is the end of episode 12. Thank you again, Samantha, for joining me. You're awesome.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. You're awesome.
No. Good night, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Good night.
Oh, hey. Wow. Oh, hey, everyone. It's Dean from Paranormal Pickers. Oh, I got the preview for the next episode. Oh, yeah. Here, take a peek. Oh.
This place is haunted.